The moment I saw my daughter being taken into an ambulance, panic seized me, and I rushed to her side. Lying on the stretcher, she clutched my hand with shaking fingers and whispered, "Mom, please don't tell Dad." I didn't leave her, not for a single second, as we rode together to the hospital. The oscillating frequency of the siren was the only sound in the universe that seemed to penetrate the sudden, suffocating vacuum of my reality. At exactly 2:14 p.m. on a Tuesday in mid-November, I had arrived at our driveway in the quiet, manicured enclave of Greenwich, Connecticut, expecting to find the house empty, as my 16-year-old daughter, Maya, was supposed to be at her AP History study group. Instead, I found the front door of our $3.2 million colonial estate wide open, and a white ambulance parked at an angle on the gravel, its lights casting a chaotic, rhythmic red glare against the gray afternoon sky. I abandoned my car, a sensible Volvo SUV that Richard insisted I drive for safety, and ran toward the stretcher that two paramedics were wheeling out of the foyer. On it lay Maya. She was pale, her skin the color of old parchment, and there was a cervical collar wrapped around her neck. Her left arm was splinted, and a line of blood, stark and terrifying, ran from her hairline to her ear. Panic, cold and absolute, seized my chest, making it difficult to draw breath, but I forced my legs to move, forcing myself into the role of the calm, competent mother I had been trained to be. "I'm her mother," I announced, my voice sounding thin and brittle against the mechanical wail of the engine. "I'm coming with her." The lead paramedic, a man with gray stubble and eyes that looked like they had seen 20 years of suburban tragedies, nodded once. "She's conscious, ma'am, but confused. We suspect a concussion and a radial fracture. We need to go now." I climbed into the back of the ambulance, the smell of antiseptic and diesel fuel assaulting my senses. I took Maya's hand, avoiding the IV line that had already been inserted into her delicate vein. Her fingers were ice cold. She opened her eyes, struggling to focus on my face, pupils dilated and uneven. "Maya," I whispered, squeezing her hand gently. "It's okay. Mom is here. We're going to the hospital." She blinked, tears leaking from the corners of her eyes, mixing with the dried blood. She pulled me closer, her grip surprisingly strong for someone so broken. "Mom," she rasped, her voice barely audible over the road noise. "Mom, please don't tell Dad." The request hit me harder than the sight of her injuries. It wasn't a plea for pain relief. It wasn't a cry for help. It was a plea for silence. "Don't tell Dad." My husband, Richard, the celebrated family law attorney, the man who was currently at his firm in Manhattan, billing clients $950 an hour to settle their domestic disputes, the man who had bought Maya a pony when she was 6 and a coding boot camp tuition when she was 14. Why would her first instinct in a moment of trauma be to hide it from him? "We won't worry about that now," I soothed, brushing the hair from her forehead, my mind racing. "Just rest." But she wouldn't let go. "No," she insisted, her breathing becoming ragged. "He'll be so angry. He told me not to go in there. Please, Mom, promise." The heart monitor began to beep faster, a digital staccato mirroring my own rising pulse. "I promise," I lied. "I promise, Maya. Just breathe." I didn't leave her, not for a single second, as we rode together to the hospital. But in that cramped metal box, watching the city rush by through the small rear windows, the foundation of my life began to crack. Richard was a strict father. Yes, he was exacting. He demanded straight A's and perfect manners. But this fear was different. This was the fear of a subordinate facing a tyrant. This was the fear of a witness. When we arrived at the emergency room at 2:45 p.m., the chaos of triage took over. Doctors in blue scrubs swarmed the stretcher, shouting out vitals and orders for CT scans. I was pushed to the periphery, holding Maya's purse, which they had cut off her shoulder.
Full story on channel link below.